Your man, Jeff!
500 down, man. Only 500 to go.
Just at the you tried to be too cute, Sono Chip. Tried to be too cute.
Should have got in early. Should have got in early.
But thank you everybody who supports the show. Hey, let's take a look at some show titles. And apologies everybody if
it's your first time watching the show, it's only our 500th attempt to make it funny.
VMix is being a little chunky on me today. Being a little chunky.
Brian is testing a camera -500.mp4.
Oh my god, kind of. That's my favorite.
That dog looks like fingers. Known unknowns, unknown unknowns. Mood #mood detached.
Master me.
Literal 500. It's not an analogy. Goomlouts for poop. Literally going in dark. Pretty good show. Okay. Ant-Man has HPV. I think is such a is like a perennial moment of the show. Really.
Oh god damn it!
They're still talking about poop.
Your butt is the ultimate warrior.
Boogadi boogadi boo.
7 o'clock.
I'm a Writer is very solid.
I'm a Writer is my favorite. I really like I'm a Writer. Oh god damn it! All right, I'm gonna open up. Is the Night Attack channel open?
Yeah, it's a Night Attack show on Skype.
Okay.
What do you think, Justin? What are you feeling?
I kind of love Brian is testing a camera 500 on it, people.
And in exchange, I love I'm a Writer.
Yeah, but this is the 500th episode. I feel like there should be some way for us to memorialize it. That is an old school reference.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
500. That's a big number.
Yeah,
We've been doing this
yeah.
horse shit for a long time.
That is fucking crazy, man. No, that is nuts.
Yeah,
Like,
you know what? It's I love the fact, and I don't know any way to phrase this that doesn't sound like I'm diminishing, but I love that our genuine friendship is preserved in digital amber, right? Like
that's
fucking,
no bullshit. Like
our
for those of you, I forgot who I was talking to about this. Shit. Who was I talking? Basically, our friendship. That I had made a reference to, like, oh, that's when I like met Brian. I think it was the Scoops guys.
Oh yeah.
I did the Scoop show, which, oh my god, I'll tell you what, I was pretty fucking drunk, but like,
Ice Cream Social.
Here's all I'll say. That the opening song, I didn't realize that I also did a Hawaii 5-0. We did a Hawaii 5-0 thing when you were actually in Hawaii. There's another Hawaii 5-0 bit on there that is fucking one of the, like, I almost fell out of my chair. It was one of those, like, Paul gets into, like, fucking, like, his eyes roll into the back of his head like the fucking Undertaker, and he's just, like,
channels some, like, next level
improv
shit.
Monster.
Yeah.
Like, I was dying. Anyway, but I was saying, like, oh, this was when I met Brian, and they're like, wow, it's like kind of nuts. Like, we just kind of assume that you just, like, I don't know, like, you were, like, born next to each other, and you've just been friends since. But really, it's like, this is the living record of our, if you watch
the majority of our interaction, like far more of our friendship and our life together has been experienced right here in public and on the record than in person. I remember the first couple of years there was this recalibration. Whenever we would meet in person, I was like, oh, I can't really see that about your you have longer eyelashes than I realized in real life. You know, like you have that reset moment.
Gentlemen, we are joined.
What?
A very special guest.
Go on.
Mr. Vinny Grosso.
Hello, Vinny Grosso!
Hey!
How are you, dude?
I'm good. I was watching the end of Night Attack, and when you
teased it. People wanted Piff or Allison Hannigan, but they got me.
Oh, no. They got the best part. And I'm going to guess that the only disappointment is that you're fully clothed, unlike your previous appearance on Penn and Teller Fool Us. Go ahead. Share with us everything, because I don't know anything.
Well, last night I was on Fool Us Again, and I started out naked but was clothed instantly. So we changed it up a little bit this time.
Is that on the internet? Can we call that up and take a look at it?
This was not planned, but before I came here, on my DVR, I watched your episode like this afternoon, and you were fantastic. So thank you so much.
Cool.
Okay, so what do we search for to find it? I would assume Vinny Grasso, second appearance, naked, fully clothed. That'll lead us to.
Man, I bet
I think if you say Gilbert Gottfried helps Vinny Grasso fool Penn and Teller,
oh, Jesus,
I think would be
awesome.
Okay, I'm excited. Here we go. All right.
Fooling Penn and Teller was awesome. You can tell how excited I was if you watch the tape.
You can tell how excited.
The joy
were you seatbelting?
That moment gave me is right up there with anything else that has happened positively in my life. The thing is, I fooled them naked. I didn't really know that it would become my thing. All the people that saw that show expect to see me naked all the time. I just can't seem to break free of people calling me the naked magician or saying, oh, it's nice to see you with clothes on.
It's okay to perform naked. Junior is always naked. Benson is always naked.
Man, I want to put my clothes on.
Oh, this is great.
Please welcome back Vinny Grasso.
Thank you. The last time I performed, I had to use a privacy screen. That won't be necessary this time.
Nice.
One of my favorite Penn and Teller routines uses a psychic gorilla.
Wait, pause it.
I heard a rumor.
Listen, I don't want to note you're the one who's had many television credits, but just the cock out. Did you ever think about it? Like, all right.
You know, since I talked to you guys last, I did that naked routine in Italy and on a TV show in Italy, and the woman host had no problem coming up and giving me a full-on inspection.
No kidding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what?
And nowhere to seatbelt it.
Yeah, this is what I want to know. Is
Well,
like
if it's-
what negotiations goes through one's head when you're on national television, fully naked, being inspected by what I assume is an attractive Italian model.
Yeah, well, the one in Italy was funny for a couple reasons. One is they just don't care, you know. So my concern going into the show was that they're like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about censorship in America." I'm like, "No, I actually like the censorship." that kind of protected me from, you know. Mike Close said that he's permanently scarred from helping the edit of Fool Us last time because he just can't unsee my junk. So but the other thing too with Italy, I didn't want to do it because I had gained weight, and when I got there, the Italians don't care about that. I mean, I walk out and they're like, "Oh, you're beautiful," and I'm like, "No, I'm like really fat right now." They don't care. So
all right, I have thoughts. So let's get back to this.
That Penn and Teller have.
Yeah, Brian, just real quick, I mentioned a psychic gorilla routine. They wouldn't let me say mofo.
Wait, really? Because that was over the line?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they were concerned in how it was being said, as opposed, you know, it was like. I said,
like if you wanted mofo something, then it'd be fine. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So I had to just say.
So
a routine
you had
with
to
a psychic
allude
gorilla.
to the psychic gorilla instead of mention his name.
Yeah.
Another psychic animal trick in their warehouse. One that they've never performed, and I don't even think they remember. I asked a close personal friend of Penn and Teller to sneak in and steal it. I mean, how cool would it be to fool Penn and Teller with their own trick? So he agreed, he got it,
and he's willing to talk me through the trick via video conference, just as long as I hide his identity. So if we can try and connect with the mysterious friend of Penn and Teller.
All right, so I stand here, and my identity's hidden, right? It's hidden. No one knows who I am.
Oh, this is wonderful, Vinny.
You blurred me
This
out.
is great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is great. Okay, how much can you share with the genesis of this? Like, I'm sure you're aware of who Penn is friends with and so on. Did you pitch this? And here's what I want to know. Did you talk to Gilbert first or the team first about this idea?
So people that are into magic will know everything of like how I thought of this. I mean, one of my favorite tricks was Copperfield doing the trick with Orson Welles.
Yeah. Where
Orson Welles was on the screen. And I think that was David's most expensive magic trick because of the lawsuit that happened afterwards, and I think a settlement or something like. I don't know what the deal was, but he says it was the most expensive trick that he did. So I wanted to do that, but not as expensive.
So you naturally went to Gilbert Gottfried.
No, so I pitched it to the producers, the idea of working with a celebrity and all that, and they came to me and suggested Gilbert because of Gilbert's friendship with Penn and Teller. So I didn't know Gilbert prior to this, and we got on the phone with Gilbert and his wife Dara, and the producers gave like a bird's eye view of what they wanted to do, and then they had me jump in and give details, and then the response was, "Okay, I'll do it."
So your entire appearance is hinging on how well he performs this bit, and you have no control or no read on how into it he is.
Exactly. Yeah. But so
apparently I've only seen the trailer, but he's a pretty solemn guy. I mean, all comedians in general are going to be very different, off stage, generally more depressive than they are on stage, obviously, as kind of a rule. But he apparently is a very quiet, reserved sort of, like he has like his wife and I think his sister that he just visits every day and is kind of a quiet dude.
That documentary on him, Gilbert, is out now,
yeah,
right?
It's fantastic.
Is it? Okay. Where can I see it?
I think it's
something called Google, Brian.
Well, no. What I'm asking is to is it on Netflix or do I have to pay for it?
Something like? Yeah. I forgot where I purchased it. Was like I watched
the Pirate Bay. That's where you can
find
find it, you asshole. Okay, I get it. All right, fine.
It is available for purchase on VOD.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Sorry, I was Googling how to watch a movie.
Yeah. I stole this trick from Penn and Teller, and because they've got lousy security. They're idiots, and they've got lousy security. Well, even if they had good security, they'd still be idiots, but it would be too lengthy to talk about. Here, first like job, look at the instructions here. Get a random volunteer from the audience. This may take a while, so I'll take a break.
Whoa, stop. Forget it.
So, was that moment where he stopped, was that scripted, or was that something he did and then you wrote into your routine where it's like, oh, that would be great, I'll make that like a moment I'm talking to him?
So the whole routine, the idea that I had was nothing like what this came out with. When we knew we were going to use Gilbert, a friend of mine said, "Oh, because of his voice, you should have him blurred."
Right, because everybody will absolutely know who it is.
Exactly, and that gave me the idea of okay, well then the reason why we're blurring him is because he stole a trick from Penn and Teller's warehouse, and we don't want him to, so that the idea of the blur came from a friend of mine, and then that allowed me to come up with the whole routine. And then he also said you should have him walk away from the blur and the blur stay right where it is. So that's what I knew going into filming with Gilbert, that I was going to do that. And also the idea of him, so having him read the instructions of the trick made it so much easier, because then I was able to kind of give him a script that he could, and when I say a script for Gilbert, it's just, ideas, and let him
bullet
rip.
Points.
So
yeah.
Like the whole thing about they're idiots and lousy security, that's all Gilbert. That's him coming up with all that stuff. So it's just let me give him the boundaries of a playground to go have fun in.
I think we can remove the blur and everyone knows it's Gilbert Gottfried. Teller, in your drawer over there, there's a foam ball. If you could take that out and give it a toss randomly into the audience. We'll try and find a volunteer. What is your name?
Mark.
Mark, let's give Mark a nice round of applause. Come on up, Mark.
Hey, pause it for a second. This is I don't know, a sort of a bit of inside baseball. Like one of the things that really makes me nuts is when people in the comments say like, oh, it was a plant, it was a fake in the audience or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I want to defend Penn and Teller Fool Us right now by saying like they're super fair. Like that was the guy who ended up with the ball, but they probably, I'm imagining, I don't know, you can confirm or not confirm or refuse to talk about as you see fit, but it's like if I were running Penn and Teller's Fool Us, I would say pause everything. That's the genuine guy who got the ball. Let's put a microphone on him so that we can hear him when he says, my name is Mark or whatever. Are you in a position to confirm or deny that this is how it happened?
So that's exactly what happens, but there's something else that happened in that sequence that when we're done with watching the whole thing,
okay,
I'll get back to you. And it's kind of like a key behind the scenes thing.
Cool. Is it a hand job?
You, Mark.
That's
nice
what everybody's asking.
Yeah.
Just a real quick rub.
I guess I don't have to go over it now.
Right over here, and hopefully we can call Gilbert back now that we have a volunteer.
Okay, perfect. Now go through the animals with the audience. Okay, so we've got a turtle. We have a raccoon. We have a penguin, an elephant, and this was left over by those other two Vegas. It's a tiger.
You mean Siegfried and Roy?
Yeah,
Can you pause
Siegfried
it?
and Roy.
Pause. So
What happened right there, when Gilbert filmed the film that I have, he has, these was left over by those other two Las Vegas magicians. Those two Nazis. Yeah, Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah. So we weren't sure how we were going to deal with that, because if we bleep it, people are going to think that he didn't say Nazi, that he probably
they're going to think something way different.
Which is way worse.
Yeah.
So I said, just duck the audio on it, and I'll jump over it and say, when he's saying that, I'll just say, you mean Siegfried and Roy, because that was his response after.
Right.
Okay, and now, there's one more here, and that is my favorite parrot. Now we gotta have the volunteer look away.
So if you just
while
cover your eyes.
I make a prediction, and I conceal the prediction with this envelope. See, that's very well concealed now. Now, Vinny, you take the duplicate box of animals that I sent you, and you show them to the audience.
I have a turtle.
Yeah.
Pause it. Oh my God, Vinny, this is wonderful. I absolutely deeply adore the insight that we are getting to the mind of a magician of what it means to write a routine under the constraints that are given for Fool Us. This is wonderful.
Thanks.
Elephant.
Thanks.
The spider, the tiger, and the parrot. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, now have your friend close
That's you, Mark.
his eyes.
So close your eyes.
Reach into the box.
And I need you to reach into the box and grab an animal. There you go. Oh,
What's that?
It's a gorilla.
What? It's a.
Did you guys do this?
What's going on here?
I think Penn and Teller.
Pause. I really enjoyed Penn's "fuck you" face. like in that moment, he is so on guard. This motherfucker is just like, you asshole motherfucker.
No, it isn't the parrot. I think they did it.
Parrots.
It is a box of parrots.
Box of parrots. How could you possibly
No.
this one up? There's no way. There's no way. How could you be that stupid?
Gilbert. The prediction is concealed inside the envelope. It said inside, not by the envelope.
Oh, in the envelope.
Yeah, Mark's prediction should be. Mark, is that your prediction?
Oh shit, his fucking
Yes,
name.
give Mark a nice round of applause.
Fuck you, Vinny. Fuck you, Vinny. Fuck you. You won a second show called Fuck You, Vinny. God damn it. That's fucking great. Holy shit. That's great, man.
That's amazing.
All right, what's that moment? What's that moment with the mic?
Okay, so the whole reason what it's gonna it'll turn out that I fooled them, and I didn't think I did.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but I really didn't think I did, and I didn't think this routine was going to fool them. I put in a couple things.
Pause everything, because you definitely fooled me. Can I have a moment to just speak candidly with Justin?
Yeah.
Fuck Vinny Grasso. Jesus Christ.
No, this is our listen, there's a two-man show where we discuss your magic trick called Fuck Vinny Grasso.
Okay, so fuck, I got nothing. Justin, do you have anything?
I mean, I think we're probably both on the same page that we know how one side of that is done, but the Mark thing is a little trickier.
I think they just basically brought in an entire audience named Mark, like the girls, the guys,
Shit.
everybody's
No,
named
that
Mark.
makes
They're
sense.
Like, all right,
that tracks.
set.
That
Yeah,
tracks.
yeah.
Okay, all right, no, we got it. Vinny, we figured it out, buddy. They're all marked.
They're all marks.
Can we hear Penn and Teller's guess?
I mean, they're lesser version of the truth.
Yeah, I coordinated with on-camera audiences to make sure that just Mark were in the.
Okay. That was not part of what we were busting you on. No, we had the other part. We think that when Gilbert was holding up that piece of paper, which is amazing. Gilbert's barely a monkey. Getting him even hold up a piece of paper is remarkable. He can't do anything. He certainly can't fool us. He held up a piece of paper that was blue screen, green screen, chroma key, and you had one of your little minions out in the booth, out in the truck, that laid in the name Mark, didn't you? He was holding up a blue card.
Was it a visual effect?
No, it wasn't.
Pause.
exactly how you described it.
Okay. All right,
You gotta say it once.
Sorry, this is me logging in. I love the fact that there's an after game to Penn and Teller Fool Us called Penn and Teller Fool also or fucking also Fool.
Fuck you, Vinny Grasso. That's our show. Like it's YouTube Red.
You smell the bit of nipping and tucking that they do, right? And so there was something that happened there, and I assume it was just for time that they just shortened it because for plot they've been super fair and they have not cheated in that regard.
Yeah, so what they cut off is I said that's not exactly how I did it, but close enough, and I walk off.
Oh,
Again,
really?
I
So
walked
you
off
were conceding.
I did not fool them.
Oh, wow.
I conceded.
no.
Which by the way, is a shockingly strong position to take. Like that was my decided position going into it, where it's like, I understand that the conceit of the show is to fool them, but I think that is a weak position to create a good representation of my act, and so I'm not even going to try to do that. And it sounds like you did the same thing.
Yeah. Twice.
Wild.
So if you just play, like,
all right. Keep
second
going,
and then play, because Penn's reaction is from me walking off, like conceding and walking off again. So.
Pause it real quick. Which, by the way, I did the exact same thing where I thought an awful lot about what they were going to say after I did the psychic surgery thing. I knew they were going to ask about the bill, so I wrote that bit of like, oh, this will be funny because I'll just, eat the bill like it's a bag of weed.
I think I have
whatever. Great. It was great.
I think I have an idea.
Great. Okay,
holding up that piece of paper, which is amazing. Gilbert's barely a monkey. Getting him even hold up a piece of paper is remarkable. He can't do anything. He certainly can't fool us. He held up a piece of paper that was blue screen, green screen, chroma key, and you had one of your little minions out in the booth, out in the truck, that laid in the name Mark, didn't you? He was holding up a blue card.
No,
Was it a visual effect?
No, it wasn't exactly how you described it.
See, this is the problem you have here. If there's one thing we hate, it's being fooled. If there's two things we hate, it's being fooled twice by the same guy. If there's three things we hate, it's being fooled by Gilbert Gottfried. And I'm telling you right now, Vinny, we will not be fooled by Gilbert Gottfried. What I'm trying to say to you, Vinny, you idiot, is you fooled us. Do you understand that?
Oh, that's wonderful.
So they reshot, like, the first thing, we won't be fooled by this, and the second, we won't whatever that 1, 2, 3 was.
Sure.
They shot that actually the next day. I wasn't supposed to. You're not really allowed to go see other acts.
Right.
But the last day of shooting, my act was already done, and Penn's wife invited me to come and watch and hang out with her group of friends. And she has a little pull, so she got me into the audience. And in between acts, they do some pickups, and I heard him saying that, and I'm like, hey, I'm right back here in the audience, kind of thing. So they overlaid, a bunch of different things.
This is so wonderful, because this is one of the things that there is criticism of this show for pushing the spotlight on the fooling aspect of magic instead of the narrative aspect of magic. And I have always felt like it's fairly transparent that that the fooling aspect is horseshit. Like, it's nonsense. It's the MacGuffin that gives us a reason to give people a positive showcase for their material. Hearing that story really makes me really, really pleased, because it's a case of them putting the money where their mouth is, where it's like, yes, it's about telling really good stories, and who the fuck cares what does it mean to even fool somebody? That's dog shit.
It is legitimate, though, and they make sure that it's legitimate because they do want to kind of have a recognition, and it is indicative of Penn and Teller's entire career that they understand much more than I think many magicians in history exactly what the audience wants when they walk into a theater or turn on a television, and what the audience, like Brian, more than anybody, that when they watch a magician, they want to know how the trick's done, right? Or they want to know if the trick's really good, or they think at least they know the trick's done.
That's the impulse. That's the urge. That's the gut talking. But
yes,
the gut is not necessarily the final arbiter of what your artistic experience is going to be. Right?
But it is. But that gut does set the parameters for, is this great?
Sure.
Right. So it's like, if these guys, and even the funny thing is that the audience doesn't even really know how revered fucking Teller is, or how much of a historian Teller is, that like to fool Teller in magic, in the nerdiest fucking, virgin heart of magic, the to fool Teller is something that is well thought of. That is a thing that, like, inside the clubhouse is well thought of.
I'll tell you a quick little story that it'll probably give away the method, but
I'm okay with this.
This wasn't about trying to fool Penn and Teller.
Sure.
I wanted to do a really fun piece with my clothes on. That was the whole purpose of this routine.
Well played, my sir.
So I didn't even want to do the thing with the name, or like when he reached in and pulled a monkey out. There was, the box was just a normal box, and the stuff down, that was all just sleight of hand stuff. Because I thought I was thinking about we were going to maybe have Gilbert appear at the end. And if he appeared, I didn't want Penn and Teller to just be like, oh, well, to get Gilbert here, you fooled up, kind of thing, and not have any substance behind the trick that I did. So that's why I could have easily done a gimmick box and made my life easier. But I didn't want to have any gimmick on the box for the selection. But then I also added in that video piece with the name on it. And I got coffee with Penn after, like a few days after. And, he said to me, he's like, man, I don't know how you got Gilbert to film so many different options. And
then all of a sudden you realize, like, you for reals fooled him.
Wow.
No. I said to him, I was like, I didn't.
Oh, that's great.
And he looked, and Penn looked at me and he goes, so you didn't fool us? And I'm like, I didn't think I did. I didn't think I did. That kind of thing. So then I was partially depressed. I mean, I was fine, but I was partially depressed. I was like, Penn, I'm not giving back the trophy. Like I'm still keeping
fuck
this
you.
thing. But I emailed Teller, like, when I got home, and I was like, oh, Teller, turns out I didn't fool you. And I explained the conversation that I had with Penn, and Teller wrote back instantly. He goes, no, you absolutely did fool us. He said, the way you handled the spectators, plural, because it wasn't just the one volunteer that you saw. The way I handled the spectators, Teller said, it eliminated the concept that I had multiple outs on this thing. That so the way I handled the first person that caught the ball, I asked him like immediately. I was like, let's make it even more random. You toss it again, and then it landed on that guy, and then I used that guy. I had the first guy toss the ball again because the trick wouldn't have worked with him.
Correct.
So then we went to the second one, and so Teller was like, the way that happened in his mind, he just instantly dismissed that anything could have been kind of pre-done, and that everything had to be on the spot. So then I felt better about the whole situation.
So I had one of those moments, and this is probably something that what I'm about to introduce is a conversation I want to have with you off air at some point. But I had one of those moments where when you're on stage, everything's pretty much on rails. You know exactly where everything's going to go. If it gets slightly off rails, you know the right words to say to get it back on rails, and so on.
Yeah.
Whereas in a close-up environment, there's a lot more chaos. There's a lot more things you can't predict or whatever. And you're familiar with my book test, and there was a moment that somebody in a social gathering asked me to do some card stuff. So I did 2 or 3 mind reading card tricks or whatever. And then it was very clear that one of the people who happened to be, her profession was a psychiatrist. And she was like, I would really like to see just one more. And I had that moment of eye contact. And I said to the other guy there, like, he mentioned casually in public that, like, man, we got a lot of books in our library. I wonder if you could do anything with one of those. And picking up on his note, I was like, man, if only you could find 2 books that everybody's heard of here. Just, go find them. Made casual conversation. And we had one of those moments that was truly exceptional, where it's just like, as far as that person is concerned, I just ended the world and broke reality in front of her. And it was utterly delightful. I just realized that the thing I really wanted to talk to you about, I can't really get to now that I've said it in public. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm great.
End of sentence.
Hooray for me.
Well, okay.
Who's rad, this guy. Also, we should talk later. Sorry.
Stuck the landing on that one.
Yeah. That was
It's
okay. You don't talk for a living or anything.
You know it. And here's the worst part is you know exactly what I was leading up to and realized how checkmated I am. Fuck you. Fuck you all. Fuck all of you. It doesn't matter. Yeah. All right. So there's that.
Yeah, but so I just feel lucky that, and maybe this kind of alludes to what you wanted to talk about, that if those circumstances didn't happen, I wouldn't have fooled them.
Yeah, well, I think I remember what I was getting at, which was not the real thing, which I'll call and talk about later. But I think that what I was getting at was when the person asked me after the fact, like, how did you do that? Please give me just a hint. What I explained was there's a superposition in quantum particle physics, right? Where it's like a particle is both here and there, and you can treat it like it's both here and there until it gets to the point that it collapses, at which point you have to act like it was always either here or there. And I think magic, especially your routine, seems to be much of the same thing, where it's like your job is to suspend the superposition as long as you can, get to the point where it collapses, and act like that's always where it was the entire time. Well, is that fair to postulate?
Absolutely, and it goes to, like something I learned from stand-up comics. It's you have to own it.
Yeah,
you know, like when they do a comedy set, same set that they did the night before, it killed the night before, it doesn't kill this night. Everything was the same, other than that they just didn't own it. Is what they believe in it. So yeah, you have to believe that whatever path you're going down is the path it always was. You know. Right.
Correct. Hot damn. Dude, Vinny Grosso, what could we possibly promote that would be of benefit to you, our good friend?
So I updated my book, Exposed and Fearless. So I write a little more about this trick with Gilbert and how it came. You know, a little more detail than what I've just chatted with you guys about. So Exposed and Fearless. The third edition is on Amazon now. The second edition is still up there. I gotta yank it, but. Third edition is good. Yeah, the link on my website is to the second edition. So, but because I'm all on top of this. No, seriously. And so after this thing, I did a viewing party at Hooters, which if you look at my Twitter, well, I produced a show at Hooters. So they were awesome to put it together for me. Yeah, that's the new one. And two of the people in the beginning are characters in my show. It's called The Worst Show in Vegas. And the main character is Yurdi Wurst from Austria, who doesn't realize his name translates poorly. So it's a variety show. But I don't even know where I was going. Oh, so I went right after the viewing party went for a while, and actually Matt King tossed me into the pool. That's on Twitter, the little video of that, to have Penn and Teller's back, you know, like, so he threw me in there. And then after that, I packed up this Illusion and drove up. I'm in like San Luis Obispo, like north of San Luis Obispo, from Vegas to there. A friend of mine was on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He was a regular character on that. And I'm making him basically beam into this symphony orchestra thing tomorrow night. So we just, behind me, I'm in a car right now because the orchestra is rehearsing. If I open the door, you'll get blown away by that.
That is fantastic.
So I've had no time to do anything. I had 2 hours sleep. I came up here, set up the illusion, and then I went and took a nap, and then we just finished teching it.
Dude,
so,
thank you so much for popping in with us.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Justin, where should everybody go to see more Vinny? I'm asking Justin instead of Vinny. Sorry.
He's on Twitter at Vinny Grosso. With that,
I am the worst person on social media. I absolutely don't do anything, and I don't know.
Which is insane because you're one of the best people in person. Like Vinny Grosso, for the uninitiated, he and I first met in person when you were helping to stage manage the Archer live show, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And
first time in person. Yeah.
So I was super stoked.
We did one of these things with Theory 11 way back.
That's right. We talked about philosophy and theory about magic, and in fact, that does kind of lean into the things that I thought I was leading up to and suddenly shut down. I'm really excited to talk to you about some stuff in that realm. But man, oh man, that was a fantastic experience. And so what is the number one thing outside of social media people can support of yours?
If you're in Vegas, come to the worst show in Vegas. That would be awesome.
Where is it again?
It's at the Hooters Casino.
Oh, okay.
Hotel.
Yep.
But we're right now we're just Saturdays at 4:00. We're adjusting. Like we got the show off the ground in within 2 months. Stan Allen was our head director, creative force, and
that's great.
on it. And yeah, my business partner is Brian South from Creative Magic. So we kind of put together the concept of it and work with it. And it's a ways away from. I think it'll be a staple in Vegas, but it's kind of its first. You're seeing it as it's hatched. Dude, and it's not fully grown right now.
All I know is that you said the words that you're in Vegas, and I know that I'm going to be in Vegas 1 month from now, which means you and me are going to be hanging out together, and I cannot wait to talk to you about all of the inside scoop.
Yeah. Dude, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Vinny.
Thank you, Vinny.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I love your show, and thanks for always being kind to me.
Oh, hell yeah. No, you're one of our champions.
And no questions about laser hair removal this time, right?
Okay, all right. Yeah, they were under the surface the entire time. It's you and being naked and laser hair removal and who you date afterwards. Look, we'll talk again. I'll see you in Vegas, man.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, love you, Vinny. Take care, bud. Goddamn, Vinny is one of the good ones. He's great.
Man.
He's a real sweetheart, man. He's fucking great.
When we chatted, he's got a grasp on the fundamentals of what really matters in storytelling and magic at a level that forgive me, Justin, our show is not necessarily great at bringing out the fundamentals of core storytelling of magic routines or whatever. No, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I just watched him because he's telling a narrative, and he's got a good handle on this is the way this is gonna be received, and this is the story I want to tell, and this is how I want it to be received, and yeah, it was masterful watching him dealing with a guy here. I've got a guy, Gilbert Gottfried. I don't know what he's gonna do. And I'm going to work with it and still build it in the narrative that I'm going to sell.
Doggone it. You just caused me to remember. You probably heard me melt down and not know what I wanted to say. You caused me to remember what I wanted to say, which is the job of a magician is to be an excellent chess player. And there are some magicians that feel like the best way to be the best chess player is to make sure that nobody knows the rules of chess.
Yeah.
And then, whereas Vinny's one of the ones who's like, no, everybody should know the rules of chess. Yeah. And I should just be the best out of all of them, knowing what I'm dealing with.
Because obviously you want people to know how you won. You want them to see I think I got it. And I think I figured it out.
I
don't have it all. I think,
Yep.
yeah, it's amazing what you did. And I think I got it all figured out except for this one thing.
Right.
That's this little, like
like,
here's
fuck
the magic.
you.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
Here's the
But that's
little
also
point of magic.
storytelling, right? It's why frustrating stories are the ones where you could never possibly know what was going to happen.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, where it's like, oh, it's a whodunit. Like, is it the butler? Is it the ex-wife? Is it the lawyer? Like, no, it was sleep apnea.
But at the same time, when you're experiencing it, you're like, oh yeah, of course, I knew that.
Right.
You're always just one step behind the story. You always feel like so when it's all told, you're like, oh yeah, I totally get it. Of course, that was the way it was going to work, because the storyteller is leading you and just gently, like, anyway, yeah.
My favorite version of what exactly you're expressing is the way Teller wrote it to me, which is put 2 and 2 in front of me, convince me it's 5, and then reveal the truth 4 and blow me away. Like that idea of I think we all tend to think that the reveal is the false narrative, but Teller very specifically said, no.
Yeah,
lay the truth in front of me. Convince me it's the lie.
That is literally,
and then reveal the truth.
Which is so funny, because that is literally what I try to do with music.
Yeah.
So you guys doing what you like that is literally the thing is I try to set up an expectation, and then I look for my kernel of truth, and I go here, and then voila, here's the real deal. So I set up an and it's very funny. That's probably narrative across all everything. It's probably advertising. It's probably everything. That's the kernel.
That is how Teller introduced it to me in that letter that he wrote 20 years ago. He said, "I'm about to reveal a fundamental truth of narrative fiction. It's so simple. You're going to say this man is bullshitting me, but I assure you, I am not.
Yeah.
Put 2 and 2 in front of me, reveal the truth 4, and blow me away.
Yeah.
And I think." I don't know. There's something so simple and universal about it that I think it's 100% right.
Yeah, and yeah, that's. I can't speak for everybody, but the thing is that's my whole thing.
Yeah, but if you wrote a song where you spoke for everybody, what would that song say? Do me a favor, just real quick. Hey man, we've had a lot of fun, Justin, haven't we?
We have, but we should probably really get a song though.
Okay,
well, I mean, let's just wrap things up with one single song.
No, I need some help.
That speaks for all of us.
So what key is a song of everybody in?
The key of G.
The key of G.
G is for Goomlaut. There's a Goomlaut that we all owe to somebody for the poop amount.
Okay, so this is the song. All right, so let me see. So, all right, so this is the song.
Mike, we're going to Scoop Fest in a few months. Would you mind coming along with us? Can we bring you as a toy to introduce you to the Ice Cream Social Boys?
Yeah, all right. So what?
When
is it?
I would like you to re-examine that sentence.
Yeah. He's our
Can we
welcome.
bring you along as a toy to introduce to the Ice Cream Boys?
Yeah.
Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, guys. So. Okay, all right. So this is what goes on in my head when I'm trying to write the song for everybody,
for the world.
Yeah,
just if you can,
hey,
the whole world.
This is everybody. How you doing? I know we're kind of hard to understand. We're sorry about that. You just got to keep working, bud. Seriously, man, just stick with it and keep trying, and keep trying, and keep trying. No, seriously, you gotta keep trying, man. You're getting pretty close. You're getting, you're not doing too bad, but you just gotta keep trying, man. And someday you'll get there. Just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. This is us, everybody.
God damn. That's what we needed to hear on our 500th episode. Is just keep trying, man.
That's the message that I get every day of my life. You're getting pretty close.
But really, you should keep trying.
Yeah.
Keep trying, though.
Thank you, Trey. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm a little bit drunk now. So yeah, he's.
Don't know why
Trey,
you would say that.
So Trey is. He's a fucking miracle worker. Like, it's crazy because the thing is, like, because I have 300
because he
songs.
taught Helen Keller how to sign.
He did.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. It's a bunch of. We're number one. I'm number one.
This is.
It's going great.
This is
going
great.
great.
I'm very sorry.
What I like about this after show is how tight it is.
It's smooth and very intentional.
Man, we're all just seat belting. I mean, what can one do?
Yeah. When in doubt, seat belt it out.
And we're done.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Love you guys.
Right,
Love you guys.
Wait, I unplugged it. We are hot swapping cords tonight. Good night, everybody. We'll see you
Go Chano 613. He's the top bitmeister for the after show.
Love you guys.
Yeah, here. Sandwich, Brad, Babcat, Lisa J, Wabbit Magic, me. I put in 100, whatever. Thanks 22 and WJ says thank you guys so much.
Night. Everybody say good night.
Good night.
When you